Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Sienna Rose here. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at 6 signs that you could be a medium. A medium is a person who relays information back and forth between the spirit realm and Earth. Most of the time, a medium has developed their clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient abilities. Clairvoyance is the ability to see spirit. Some people see spirit with their physical eyes. Some people, it's the mind's eye. Actually, for most people, clairvoyance just takes place in the mind's eye. Clairaudience is the ability to hear spirit. Again, some people actually hear things, but most people will just hear it, again, in the mind. Similar to reading dialogue in a book. It's like you can almost hear the characters' voices. That's very, very much what it's like. And clairsentience is the ability to feel or sense the presence of spirit. Now, sometimes clairsentient people can feel things emotionally, but some mediums can feel physically. So that's pretty interesting too. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that, yeah, all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. There is kind of a difference. There are some psychics that do not talk to deceased people who are on the other side, and there are some who do, like me, for example. That's why we're doing this video. Okay. Now, we are all connected to spirit, so we are all able to develop and practice our psychic skills and abilities. And if you find that any of these things on this list really resonate with you and you want to be a medium and you find that this is something you're interested in, then this is awesome, awesome news for you. If you don't want to, and maybe mediumship or talking with deceased people, maybe that makes you really uncomfortable or something, don't worry. You have the choice not to develop your skills. You have the choice to close them off if you wanted. But this video is mainly for people who do want to go ahead and practice with this, or maybe you already kind of suspect you might be a medium, or like there's something going on there and you're looking for validation. Maybe this video will help you out. Pay attention to your dreams at night, especially if they involve somebody who has since died. One of the first clues that I was a medium was dream visitations, which at the time I didn't know were visitations, just thought they were really strange, vivid dreams. But it became very apparent after my grandpa died that there was something definitely going on. Now, I was always raised Christian, so back then believed in the idea of heaven and hell, and maybe loved ones in heaven could send us messages, but at that time I was quite skeptical about it and I really wasn't sure. Anyways, a few nights after he died, I was sleeping and I dreamt that I was in this really big white house, very expansive, very wide. It looked almost like a really big luxury condo or luxury home or something like that. And my grandpa was there. All I remember about that home was that everything was white. Everything was so radiant, and it was so warm. This just glowing white light surrounded this house, the inside of this house, and it was so warm and it was so loving, it was so comforting. And my grandpa was there and he was standing up. He was, looked old the way I recognized him, of course, but he was standing up straight and His eyes were just like sparkling, and for a few weeks prior to his passing, if I remember right, he had been quite sick and he just wasn't himself, and he looked all gray, and just that there was, after a while, there was that look in his eyes like nobody was home, right? But here, he was like perfectly, completely alive. And he spoke to me without, and I remember this, his mouth stayed shut. The message was telepathic, and he said, "I'm always here when you need me." It took a little while to realize that that was not just a weird dream, because I remember waking up and feeling like that was real. And then, of course, realizing, oh yeah, no, wait a minute. But that was real. That was called a dream visitation. And now that I'm a little more practiced with my mediumship, it is kind of nice for me to look back at that memory and realize that not only was that just something that was a gift given to me to bring me comfort, but it was also to help me realize that there really was more to life than I thought. So if you've ever had a dream visitation, you might find that, like I said, the dream, it felt real. You might wake up thinking that they were actually right there with you, and it can be a really painful realization that it was more or less a dream, that it didn't actually happen in the physical realm, but it did still happen in the spiritual realm. Some people report like smells. You know, if the person they loved, maybe they smoked, or maybe they did a lot of cooking and baking, and you always associated them with the smell of food or something. In these dreams, they can smell things related to their loved one. And these dreams just feel like you're actually with them. So dream visitations are a pretty interesting sign that you could be a medium. Another sign that you could be a medium is that you feel a strong connection to cemeteries or other places associated with death. You might feel a strong connection to places that are known to contain, I guess, the dead, so to speak, because some people's spirits, maybe they don't live in the cemetery, maybe they don't reside there forever, but if they know that there's a living person around that could maybe sense them or could maybe contact them, they're going to be drawn to you. Other places that you might feel yourself drawn to, if you live near an area where there had been, you know, a historic battle in the past, you may feel really drawn to that place. Or you might find yourself drawn to a certain location without knowing why, and then finding out later that a death had taken place there. In the same vein, the third sign on our list is that you feel exhausted after visiting a cemetery or other place associated with death, like we talked about in our last one here. Now this is different than your personal grief. Okay, so if you had a loved one die, you go to visit them where they're buried at the cemetery. Yes, because of your sadness and because of that hurt in your heart, it can be really exhausting by the time you go home. I'm talking about something a little bit different. Maybe you're just there for a walk, right? Because if you're already drawn to places like cemeteries or whatever, some people find them really peaceful and like to just go for walks in them. I know I do for sure. If you find yourself just completely drained and you don't know why, there could be a reason for that. Spirits could be pulling at your energy from different directions. Just like I said in our last item on this list, sometimes if a spirit knows that there's a living person around or somebody who might be able to sense them, they might come close to that person and they might try and get their attention. And similarly to how in the physical realm you might tap someone on the shoulder, In the spiritual realm, from my experience as a medium, I have found that it's almost like your energy is being tugged at, or your aura even can be tugged on from different directions. It's almost like a child pulling on mom's sleeve. Maybe not grabbing her hand, but pulling her sleeve. Mom, mom. It's like spirits being like, hey, hey, listen, see me, notice me, talk to me, connect with me, I need help. Sometimes they don't need help. Sometimes they just want to chat. Sometimes they're just lonely, or sometimes they just want to be around the energy of a living person. That could be a sign that you're a medium. Another sign that you could be a medium is seeing synchronicities or signs. When you think about somebody who has since died, some people find that they maybe think about their specific loved one, and it seems like every time they think about them or every time they talk about them, they find a penny on the ground not long after. Or some people find feathers. I know somebody who said that they knew that their grandma was visiting them from spirit if like their I think it was a gas stove or something would like turn on or light up or something like that. It was like a strange thing, but it was almost like whenever they would sort of think about her, they would notice that happening. You might find other objects, or you might smell smells associated with your loved one when you think about them. Like I had mentioned earlier, maybe that person you're thinking of was a really good cook and everything they made smelled so good. Maybe they made their favorite dish was something especially smelly, like, I don't know, garlicky or something. And when you think of them, it's almost like you can smell their cooking, or you can smell their perfume, or you can smell their tobacco or their whatever else kind of smoke. And some people hear sounds that they associate with that person. So maybe their loved one was a singer and they're thinking about that, and maybe outside the window, all of a sudden they can just hear the neighbor humming and singing. Those kind of synchronicities. Another thing is seeing matching or sequential numbers or letters on the clock, on the TV, when you're looking at road signs, things like that, while you were thinking of a certain deceased person. The fifth sign on our list is feeling the presence of someone when you're alone, or you think you're alone. That's not to freak anybody out, but if you're feeling someone's presence when there is really no one else around, entertain the possibility that it could be a spirit. Seeing mental images of a deceased person or of a loved one flash up into your mind, or maybe it's almost like you hear their voice saying your name, or you hear their name over and over again. They're stuck in your awareness, and it's like you don't know why, or it's like no matter how hard you try to think about other things or get them off your mind, they're still there. They're very persistent. This is similar to item 3 on this list, where you feel exhausted after visiting a cemetery or a place associated with death and burial. Because I had talked about spirits trying to get your attention, kind of pulling at your aura, or just kind of pulling on your energy. That can be really tiring. And if they're very persistent like that, it means that they probably have something they really want to say, and they somehow sense that you might be able to pick up on them. Maybe they don't know how well you're going to be able to do it, but they just kind of know, oh, this person might be able to hear me. For example, I was in a cemetery in my city, and my city is an hour away from the town where I grew up. Or, yeah, one of the towns where I grew up. A person that died and was buried in my hometown years before I was even born was coming to me and coming into my awareness. even though I was visiting the cemetery in my own city, which is like an hour away from my hometown, she kept coming into my awareness, and I kept hearing her name over and over again. And I kept, because I had, in my hometown, I'd visited that cemetery also, and I did see her grave there, and I just kept getting the mental image flash up of like her gravestone where she and her boyfriend were buried together, and the images engraved on the stone and stuff like that. It was really draining, to be honest. I had to just tell her, look, because I knew her parents. This is why she maybe latched onto me, because she thought I could send a message to her mom and dad. But I was not in a position where I could do that. And I normally don't just blab out psychic messages like that to people without their consent. So I had to explain to her, like, I understand that you really want to connect with them. I understand you realize I can pick up on you, but I cannot do this for you right now. You need to leave. So you can always ask them to leave if they pester you, or if you are not comfortable speaking with them or connecting with them, or you're just not in a place or time where you can, like maybe you're at work, or maybe you're a parent in the middle of changing your child's diaper or something. It's like, I can't deal with you right now. But point is, if you're like constantly feeling somebody in your awareness, or you're seeing them, like their face, or you're hearing their name, or you just keep thinking of them over and over and over, there's a good chance that it could be them trying to connect with you. And of course, like I said, it's your choice whether or not you want to connect with them. The last thing on this list is you actually see a ghost. To be honest, I have never seen a ghost with my physical eyes. I have seen a spirit with my mind's eye because I asked him to show himself to me. I asked if I could sort of see him, and I didn't even get anything that detailed. Like, I got the outline of his aura, like green and pink, and just his general body shape. But if you've ever seen a legit ghost, or you know, you're pretty sure it's a ghost, and you've gone over it logically, maybe you know you were the only person in the house, or you were the only one around when it happened, when you saw it, when you heard it, when you experienced that, that's a really pretty obvious good sign that you could be a medium. And I did just want to save the easiest and most obvious for last. Now, it's definitely not the most common sign, because it's not every day that you're going to actually see a ghost, but some people do and some people can. And maybe you are one of them. And I just want to take this moment to verify to you, you're not crazy, probably, and that you really could be a medium. You really could have a strong connection to those on the other side. Alright, so that was my first video on the topic, signs you could be a medium. If you liked this and you want me to do another video with more signs that you could be a psychic medium, let me know. Let me and others know in the comments some of your experiences with loved ones or deceased people on the other side. Let me know what it was like for you. And if you're a medium also, let us know how you found out, because this is a really fascinating topic to me, and the more stories that I can read about other people's experiences, honestly, the better. So with that said, I'm wishing you guys a great day. Be blessed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next upload.